Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're a first time viewer, welcome back. If you are a previous viewer, today we are unboxing and opening the Leviathan box set, the 10th edition box set for Warhammer 40,000. So, this here is the promotional copy that my local game shop has received. I have been lucky enough to receive it, but I'll be painting it up and putting it together for folks to use on launch day at the store. So I've got this here and I'm going to show it to you now. So shout out to our local gaming store, Four Horsemen in Morgantown, West Virginia. They are a wonderful local gaming shop and really support our Warhammer community. So can't say enough thanks to them and their support and making all of this and the great games that I host and others host at the shop possible. So, what this box is the starter set for 10th edition. That includes both the Tyranids and the Space Marines. Now, the Space Marines in here are neutral. The Tyranids are too, so you can make them any Hive Fleet or any Space Marine chapter. Doesn't matter. Make your own thing. Have fun with it. That's the point. In here is everything you need to play, including the rule book and other things for your armies. So let's dive into it to just really see what all is in the box. To start out with, we have some lovely artwork here that comes in the box to help protect the models. Really gorgeous stuff. I really like it. It's actually the inverse of the box art. So that's really cool. It's flipped around on the box art, so it's kind of nice to have. You can hang that up on your wall if you want to. All right, is there a backside? Oh, the backside's also, it's the same thing. Okay, never mind. I thought maybe it was inverted in a different direction. It's not, it's the same. Okay, so it is inverted from the box art on the model. So right away, we have a Dreadnought. This is the Ballistus Dreadnought. We have one of the Fumey giant Tyranids. We have big, I think this is the Screamer Killer sprue. So lots of plastic, right? Lots and lots of plastic. We have the Flamethrower Space Marine sprue. We have little Griblies, Tyranids, lots of those. Oh my gosh. So many little Gribbly Tyranids. Terminator character, this looks like the Librarian. So we got the axe and the ruined armor and everything else here. Then we have a Terminator Captain sprue. That's pretty awesome. We have more Gribblies. I think these are Leapers. More flamethrower dudes. The new and the larger Terminator models that are available first here in this box set, so that's really cool. The winged something and the Terminator Captain here as well for the Space Marines. So like the two main kind of heroic characters in the box set are together. So that's pretty cool. Then we have some psychic bugs and other smaller bugs squirming around. And then we have these look like the Sternguard veteran sprue, so that's really cool. Can't wait for these. I love the old Sternguard veterans, and I'm excited for this updated kit. They're very similar to the Tyrannic War Veteran kit too. I really just love those more detailed, kind of ornate Space Marines. All right, below that, we have another piece of cardboard, paper artwork, kind of protecting what's below. This is just the Warhammer logo. So below that is this chunker of a rule book. So this is the new 10th edition rule book. So you got the Terminator on the front, Tyranid on the back. That's cool. And then this looks like close to 300 pages, over 300 pages. That is available to help us play our games. So, really cool. Very excited for this. This is going to have a lot of great stuff in it. They've already been previewing this online. The rules are already available for free for everybody. But we can see it's going to have the hobby. It's going to have the current narrative. It's going to have the forces, all the armies you can play in Warhammer. It's going to have the core rules, combat, patrol, crusade, and then indexed rules in the back. So that's really cool. Very excited to have a copy of this. All right. Next in the box is the assembly guide. As you do, as what comes, always in a box of models. So you open this up. It's the how-to build guide for all your models. Tells you about weapon options and so forth. Great thing about this starter kit, it doesn't push to fit. That means the models kind of go together one way. Makes it very easy to work with. So great stuff and wonderful for especially starting hobbyists. This, I'm guessing, on the back, yep, has the one-time code. So this is something they're doing, Battle for Ogram. And this is a worldwide event. It's only going to last 13 days, 13 or 14 days. And the idea is you play a game with the starter set. We're going to get more information about that later. And then you log it with this one-time use code on the back. So I'm not giving you all my use code. Use that use code, you log it, and supposedly whatever happens to the planet, whether Tyranids win or Space Marines win, they're going to write that into the lore, and then what happens next, and then show off the new models for that faction first. I think is real exciting. Transfer sheet. All of the beautiful transfers. We get all the chapters here. Lots of cool symbols, numbers, badges for campaigns, so on and so forth. Always good to have a nice transfer sheet. Always keep these. They're great. All right. Well, so this is not quite what I was expecting. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So next we have bases. We have some large ones here. One's for the Dreadnought. A couple of these other big ones are probably definitely for the Tyranids. So we do have the large bases. You have a bag of all your other bases to put your models on. Once again, they're push fit, so you can see the little notched openings to slide some of the medium and larger size models into the slots for the bases. So this way you pose them just perfectly. This is the last thing in this box. So I'm going to get to what I thought was going to be in here and what wasn't. But this is your basically build a mission deck. This is the new one. So it's got objective tokens inside of it. It's got 2 sets of secondary objectives. That's, I think, the red and the green we got back here. Yep. So these are basically like where you can draw your secondaries, your things you want accomplished that aren't the just main objective markers on the table for your missions. So you can do that as set, or you can do it randomly as the game progresses. You have all your battlefield maps. You have all your gambits, which is a new part where, say, if you're losing really bad, you have a very small chance if you achieve these very difficult things in order to then potentially win the game and make it not a complete wash if you got smashed by turn 2. So maybe end of turn 3 you decide to do a gambit instead. Then you have all the mission rules, which I think are really cool, and I'm very excited to play with this deck and try out the mission rules and the primary mission rules. And this is how you can build missions in the new edition of Warhammer with this deck. So, the one thing I was expecting to be in the box, and wasn't, there's no data cards. And that's okay. They are available for free online. But, as far as I can tell, I mean, there's no hidden compartment in the bottom of this box. So, there's nothing else to this. That's it. You got your models, you got your core rulebook, your transfers, your model guide. This is great. Your how to build a mission deck. Your bases and your one-time use code. That's it. It's still a hefty box. I think it's definitely worth its value. It's quite, if these are models that you want, whether you're going to split it with a friend or keep it all for yourself, you know, this is a great thing to definitely invest in and have, monetarily wise. If you look at the value of Warhammer miniatures, this is going to be a great deal. And along with, that doesn't even count all the extras like the rule book and the mission deck and so forth that you get with this launch set. one of the things I think is really neat too that they're doing is that it's narrative based. So this is Leviathan. It's not the 10th edition launch box necessarily. It is, but this is also the Leviathan narrative. So we're talking about that. And so I imagine in this new edition of Warhammer, we're going to see other narratively named box sets and crusade books and so forth coming out. And I think they've said as much on various media, whether online or on streams, right, on their website, Warhammer Community, or on their streams. So they've talked about that a little bit. And I think this is very exciting that we're going to get to explore this. And it's not always all-inclusive of all the factions. For instance, this narrative here in Leviathan doesn't include the Tau. They're just not in this region of the Milky Way galaxy. So it's not a thing that they're involved in, but they'll be present in other things later. So we'll see that, and I think that's going to be really exciting and really cool as they go back to kind of some set narrative things that don't always have to include every single faction and kind of does feel focused on your army, which I think is a fun way to do Warhammer. That's why I've always liked fighting against the Tau, because there's a lot of history with the Astra Militarum versus the Tau, and so that's one of my favorite enemies too. Because of that, because of the way they build those stories. And so this is really cool. But yeah, that's it. I'm still surprised there's no data cards. That it didn't come with at least the data cards for the models that were in the box. They will be selling those separately. They're available for free online. Actually, both these armies already, if you're watching this video on release day, both these armies' data cards are already available online. So you can go get those from warhammercommunity.com. Or you can buy them in the stores, and preferably from your local frontline gaming store like Four Horsemen Games and Comics in Morgantown, who was so kind as to supply this promotional box. So definitely check it out. It's worth a look. Try it out, and hope to see you guys on the battlefield. Until next time.